Now, while I'm talking about addictions, I also wanted to talk about depression because they're very much the same thing. With an addiction, you have an uncontrollable thought that you don't even know you're having. I mean, you can go for that smoke and not even know that you had a thought that said go for that smoke. It's just there. You just sort of are going for it and you didn't even know you lit it up. I've seen, and it's happened to me too, where I've lit up two cigarettes because I couldn't even remember that I lit up that first one. You know, they are thoughts that you're not aware of, but if like, you can't deny it. That every once in a while you do hear a voice that says go for a smoke. When you hear that voice that says go for a smoke, that's your subconscious mind. And that voice you should get in tune with and get to know with because that's going to be your best friend. Um, but the same voice, it's like a tape recorder that says the same thing. When this happens, do this. When this happens, do that. It's got these rules that as soon as anything in your environment fits in with those rules, that voice comes up. So you can change your environment. And if you have your environment that has no reminders of that voice to pop up, it will never pop out because that voice only pops out whenever something in your environment that reminds it to. So that's a really big tricky thing, is to know, okay, what is it you're allergic to? You basically, it's like you got to take everything out of your environment to figure out, oh, there it is. you know and while I've been on my healing process, I did take that step and secluded myself from society because people pissed me off and I needed to calm down. So I needed that time to really calm down. So I changed my atmosphere so that I wasn't hearing any words that pissed me off. I wasn't hearing any opinions that pissed me off, and that gave me the time to calm down. And when you're calmer, then when you hear those opinions that pissed you off before, you at least can deal with it with a lot more logic. You have zero logic if you're pissed off, and you may have more than enough reasons to be pissed off, but the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the words you should say and respond to are not going to be good if you're angry. So that's why I was at that level. Clearly, I was successful at quitting to smoking for, oh God, it must have been about 8 months. And then one of my children got married and I wasn't there. And my new daughter-in-law has a few issues and obsessive compulsive disorders. So I have some understanding of where she's coming from, and she doesn't really see what she's doing. I love the girl, but she has some definite control issues, and she definitely has issues with people liking her. So she's doing everything she can to make people not like her, and she's assuming people don't like her, and so she reacts to it, And she's got shit going on, and that was, it's still one of the most painful things, is to not be at your child's wedding and to know that it's all based on a misunderstanding. And my son is trapped. He's gone through hell. And he's found somebody that he really loves. And feels like he's caught in the middle because he loves both. But he's getting on with his life and needs to support his wife at the cost of his mother. So that's pretty painful. Um, and that got me smoking again. Because if you can see, if that voice that says, hey, choose death, what's the point in being alive if you give birth to kids and you fight so hard for them and you do every single thing for them and then you're not even at their wedding? So, those are the voices that I deal with my smoking addiction. Um, and we're talking about depression. You can see that they're very, very much associated. And addictively, when this happens, the thought of not being at my son's wedding is always in my mind. It's like I'm waking up, I'm going to sleep. I cannot stop this obsessive addiction to the thought of this one day I wasn't there. And that it's the same thing with anybody's addiction to a thought that makes them depressed. Is you will have that thought over and over and over again, and it will be painful. And depression is like a problem. It wants something. It's searching for something. So you're going to be depressed until you search and find what it is that the problem is looking for. And generally, it just wants a different understanding. It just wants a different story to be told. So the story, like, you gotta admit, it is a painful experience to have, to the point where I still cry, but am I depressed about it? I'm hurt by it. I understand it because I understand the illness. I understand the misunderstanding. I can put myself in their position and see exactly why they would be misunderstanding and saying the things that they're saying. If I was in their shoes, I'd be behaving exactly the same way as they are. I wish that there was an opportunity for open communication so we could just sort of have a meeting and everybody sort of say, hey, this is what's going on, and like a counseling session where everybody sort of lets the air out and we all find out what's true. But that doesn't happen. People are stuck to the stories that they want to believe in, and they don't give a shit whether it hurts other people or not. And that's where we're like, this is the same thing that's going on a global basis. What's going on in my family is going on in everybody's family. Divorces, it's exactly the same that's going on with the way we treat our families. It's the same thing that's going on with how we treat our communities. That's why government and law doesn't work. We are doing this on such a mass scale where nobody wants to sit down to a peace table and have peace talks and start really understanding what is the story we are telling and which one is true and which one isn't, and what do we need to do to find our way out of this. So for me, it was a matter of telling different stories. Yes, everything is completely dysfunctional in my family. Yes, it's very, very depressing. But I only get depressed when I think about it. When I don't think about it, there's no depression. So keeping busy and doing something that I love helps keep my mind occupied. Um, the biggest thing, I mean, this is my driving force for even to be alive, is to make changes, and changes within my family. That is number one. And the only way I can do that is by influencing society in some way so that it influences my family. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, then every time this depressing story comes up, I at least say, yeah, that was the past. but I'm going to create a different future. And I have communicated with this problem, like just in my own head. You don't actually have to talk to other people to find out what's going on. There's an information field. You can communicate with the information field, your intuition, and a lot of other things that I talk about, but you end up finding out truth that way. And there's no question, things are going to work out within my family as long as I do with work the problem, basically. Um, and everybody that's dealing with a severe depression has the same thing going on. You've had some kind of an event that is very, very painful. And it's replaying over and over and over in your subconscious mind like an addiction. And every time you have that thought, it's like reliving the experience over and over and over again. So, whatever event hurts you, you're actually getting hurt every single second that you're thinking about it. Because in our minds, you don't actually have to have the experience to feel the experience. That can be seen with athletes that they used to train by just doing the same routine over and over and over again. But now they're improving their training skills by telling them visualize. Visualize yourself doing the routine for 10 minutes and then do it. And they found enormous increase in potential by simply visualizing it first. Because when you visualize something, the way the brain and the body reacts, your arms, every aspect of your body will react exactly the same way. It will make the same chemical reactions as if something is really happening or something that's just imagining is happening. So, if that's true, then every time you replay the same messages, the same story of the event, painful event that you experience, you will be re-experiencing that experience over and over and over again. And while other people, may judge you to be, depressed and dysfunctional, whatever, they can't see that, you're getting your head hit over with a brick all the time and you're getting a headache from it. And you can't stop that brick from coming because you don't know how to stop that thought from popping into your head because the environment is out there and you don't know what to eliminate in your environment. It's probably the person judging you to being depressed and saying, hey, snap out of it is your problem that you need to eliminate out of your environment just until you can get calm. But there is the cure for any depression. The deepest depression is you have some event, you have some story that you need to find another story that's equally true but makes you feel 100 times better. You just need to be creative in storytelling, but it's got to be believable, because if you don't believe your own stories, then it's just you bullshitting yourself. Hope that helps anybody. Peace out.